guys, so for today's video I have my March favorites and regrets. This favorites and regrets video isn't fully packed, so we gotta kind of take a break because I feel like the last one was like packed, jam-packed with products. So as always, I'm gonna start off with my favorite products for the month. The first thing I want to just go and jump right into are these two palettes right here. I know, it's like, when do you ever see me kind of mention such colorful shadows? I don't know what it is, but this month I just really got out of my comfort zone and I really liked it. Like, I actually enjoyed it. You notice sometimes you get out of your comfort zone and you're like, okay, cool, I did it, but let me get back in my comfort zone. I was like, no, I got out of my comfort zone and I'm ready to stay there. Like, I really enjoyed playing with beautiful bolder shades like emerald and navy, and I just have so much more in mind and so many more suggestions from you guys that I'm excited to do in March. I just realized that in the beginning of this video, I said that it's my March favorites and regrets. It's my February favorites and regrets. It's March now. Get it together, Amy. Anyways, in March, I'm looking forward to exploring even more with color, but I wanted to shout out these palettes because they've really come in handy. As I went to look into my collection and find beautiful navies and beautiful emeralds, it was really tough. Like, a lot of palettes don't come out with beautiful jewel tones. You'll mainly see like warm pinks or reds or oranges. So I really had to like dig deep in my collection, but these two definitely came in handy. So the first one is the Wet n Wild Art in the Streets palette. I just think that this is such a cool little palette to have. When you look at this, you definitely can get intimidated and be like, whoa, like, how am I gonna create a look with that? But what's awesome about this is you can take each individual shade and create a look with it in combination with other shadows. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do a look with all 5 of these shadows together. I mean, you definitely could. It will be super bold and beautiful, but if you don't want to and you want to kind of ease into it, you can just create a look with the beautiful orange or the purple and make it still look wearable. So that's kind of what I've done. I used this beautiful green in the emerald tutorial and I really, really loved it. And the formula is so nice and really blends really nicely. Now this palette here, I'm so sad that I actually forgot to use this in my navy smoky eye look. I was digging through my drawers to find beautiful navy shades, and I don't know why I could not find this palette, but it didn't click in my head to look for it even, because I totally forgot that there are 3 amazing blues in this palette. These shadows are really pigmented as well and super creamy. There's, again, just so many nice shades that you can create a really wearable look with still, while just adding a little bit of a pop of color. So I really do recommend you guys picking up these palettes. It's always good just to have. So this is the MAC Glitter in the shade Emerald. I'm completely obsessed with this. I actually used this last week, so I would technically be a March favorite, but you know, whatever. I love this so much. This shade is so beautiful. When you look at this shade, again, you get intimidated. But when I looked at this shade, I just thought to myself, how beautiful would that look if you kind of just paired it with the nude lip to make it more wearable, paired it with some beautiful deep emeralds, and created a super sultry, classy, wearable emerald green smoky eye. So that's what I did, and I absolutely loved how it turned out, and a lot of you guys really, really loved it too. I'm just completely obsessed with this. The glitter is so beautiful. Of course, I mean, how can you like not love glitter, you know? So really quickly, I want to mention another really nice, colorful eye palette that really came in handy when I was creating the emerald eye look. So this is the Morphe Picasso 12P palette. And again, you look at this and you just think like, oh my God, wow, so many colorful shades. But if you just take a couple, you can create a beautiful look that's still wearable and just add a pop of color. This beautiful emerald green came like so in handy because I was looking for the perfect matte deep green for the crease and for the outer V, and it blended really well. I will say I was a bit nervous to use it because when I first swatched it, it was a bit clumpy and like, I don't know why, but when I swatched it, it just wasn't smooth. So I was like, I don't know how it's gonna work, but I still needed to use it because I needed the color. I didn't have any other options. So I was kind of nervous, but then when I used it, I was like, wow, like it literally blended itself out. Like, it blends out smooth like butter. It's so easy to work with, and I feel like that's so important when it comes to using these really bold shadows. I love this beautiful red, this really pretty pink, and again, you have another navy in here that I didn't even realize was in there for my navy look. So a lot of you guys loved that navy smoky eye. So if you're looking for some great navy shadows, it's in here and also in this palette too. So super affordable palettes. And it also comes with the black. I didn't try the black yet, but I just think that this is so convenient. Such a great little palette just to have to add to your collection in case you want to use some color. So since we're kind of on the topic of eyeshadows, I really want to mention this Stila Magnificent Metal Glittering Glow Liquid Eyeshadow. These are really good. The formula of them is really nice. I was nervous to work with them because a lot of the times with these kind of liquid shadows, they can be kind of iffy, you know, like clumpy. This blended very nicely. It was super seamless to work with. All you kind of have to do is just do little short patting stroke motions and it really applies nicely. I kind of like to apply it on the brush and then to the eyelid, but you can apply it directly to the eyelid as well. And they just look so glittery and sparkly without having to have the mess of a glitter. And this one is in the shade Kitten Karma. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and swatch this one for you guys. Like, so beautiful. And again, you can get the gorgeousness of a glitter without having to do like the mess of it. I will say though, I did use the shade Gold, I think, or Golden Girl. It is nice, but that shade is a tiny bit tougher to work with. It can be a little bit on the clumpy side, like a little bit, you know, the texture of it needs a little bit of work when you're using it, but it's definitely still manageable and workable. But this shade is just so seamless. So now I want to get into some face products. So the first one I want to mention is this Marc Jacobs Coconut Perfecting Primer. I really like, is this Perfecting or Undercover? Yes, Perfecting Coconut Primer. I really love this month. This is something I've had in my drawer for forever and never really touched it that much, but I kind of recently have been using it again and I just really like it. It moisturizes my skin really nicely, but it gives me like a plump, alive, a little bit of like this dewy look, you know. It just makes my skin look alive and fresh, and I just really enjoy the texture of it in combination with a smoothing primer. I just kind of mix the two and I do really enjoy it. I actually have one more eye product that I really want to mention quickly. So this is the Marc Jacobs Highliner Matte Gel Crayon. So I actually used their original highliner pencils and I didn't really like them at all for the waterline, but they came out with their new matte ones and this is a really nice pencil. Like this pink shade, this is called Pink of Me, and I think this is actually sold out in Sephora. Like this is such an awesome shade. It's a really, really, really beautiful kind of powder pink shade. And what I love about this is it of course will open up the eyes so nicely, but because it has that touch of powder pinkness, it's just gonna make you look so soft and delicate and give you a tiny bit of a pop of color. It also barely doesn't come off. I've even washed it off with soap and water and it does not budge. So it really does stay on there and it's super pigmented on the eyes. I have very watery eyes, so I'm very picky with what pencils I like, and this really worked well for me. I will say though, I did just test out the black shade in a full face first impressions that I just did, and the black it just did not have the pigmentation that this shade has, but I do really love this shade. So I also really want to mention this Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. I really loved this month because I've been going to the gym a lot more recently, and sometimes throughout the end of, obviously throughout the week, my tan like slowly fades. So when it starts to get like on a 3-4 day, my face starts to get extremely pale and then my body still looks tan. So sometimes when I'm going to the gym, I don't want to put makeup on, of course. Like, I mean, I don't put on a full face of makeup just to go to the gym, but sometimes I feel a little bit silly if my face is so pale and then my body's like tan. So once my face tan starts to fade off, sometimes when I go to the gym, I like to just slap on a little bit of coverage, and this really works for me. It's just super, super, super lightweight, but it still has like that light to medium coverage. I'm not gonna go to the gym with like a full, you know, coverage foundation type of thing on, but this just gives a little bit of color so that I don't look completely like pale on the face and then tan on the body and people are looking at me like, you know what I mean? But I mean, sometimes I still do it because sometimes I don't even care. But some days I just want to feel like, you know, like my face is as tan as my body. So this kind of matches with it, but it does really last nicely, and I just kind of set it with a little bit of translucent powder. It also looks really like hydrating and fresh on the skin, so you don't look dry or anything like that. I just really, really have been enjoying this. So next I want to move on to the beautiful, beautiful Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have so many amazing things to tell you guys about this. Like, I cannot even explain. And I want to say, I am not falling into the hype of this. Like, I know sometimes when there's like, you know, products that are so hyped about, sometimes when you try them, it's like, you try them and it's like your mind plays with you and it's like it's just the hype. Like, even if the product is not good, it's like you still feel like you love it so much because of the hype. So I want to say this is not for the hype, because you guys know me. I like the Anastasia Glow Kits. I really do, but I've had a couple issues with some of the shades in some of the glow kits, and the last glow kit they came out with that was really beautiful, like the gold one, there was like 2 or 3 shades in there that I mentioned to you guys in a regrets video, or in a first impression, something like that. I mentioned to you guys that I wasn't a huge fan of the formula because it was a little bit glittery and chunky and gritty. So that's why when I saw Nicole Guerrero came out with one and I saw how beautiful these shades were, I was so excited, but at the same time I was like, ugh, I really hope that the formula is like way better than the past ones. And I mean, I gotta say, I don't know if she was in charge of the formula. I'm assuming that she was, but if she was, then thumbs up, shout out to Nicole Guerrero for really making sure that the formula on this was on point, because this is so good, like way better than the other glow kits. Every single shade in here is so smooth, so buttery, extremely pigmented. But what I love about these is they're not gritty or chunky or super glittery on the cheeks. I will say there's a tiny bit of shimmer, especially in this shade. There is a little bit of shimmer in the shades. But when you put them on the cheeks, you're not like, whoa, like glitter shimmer highlight. It looks so tasteful and like classy and beautiful and luminous. It's not a little bit of sparkle in the way where it looks tacky. It just looks really good. Like, I'm telling you guys, I'm really impressed with this. I'm really happy. Again, like I said, I was nervous. I was hoping that this would turn out good in terms of the formula, and it definitely did not disappoint me. I mentioned this in my last favorites, but I'm so obsessed with it and I love it so, so, so much. This is the shade Yours to Try from the Marc Jacobs Liquid Lip Creams. I love the formula of this. It's creamy. It doesn't dry completely matte, but it just looks so beautiful on the lips. What I love about this is it's the perfect flesh tone nude that's super pale and it has a little bit of that warm tone to it. I just love it so much, and I just knew I had to mention it again to you guys in this favorites video because I've literally been using it so much in the month of February again. Like, I overused it in January, overused it in February. I'm just obsessed with it. A lot of you guys have picked it up too and you love it so much. Like, it's just a really amazing, beautiful nude that goes with everything. Again, why I had to mention this was because I did the navy tutorial that I mentioned to you guys and the emerald glitter green smoky eye look, and both of those looks were super bold on the eyes, so I wanted to go for a lip color that was very flesh tone and wouldn't take attention away from the eye look but would still complement it and make it wearable. And this just was it. Like, this was just the color that I knew would work, and it worked for the navy, it worked for the emerald. It would even work for today's look. Like, it just works when you want all the attention to go to your eyes and you just want to mute out the lips. It just looks so beautiful. I'm obsessed with this, like obsessed. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Lip Gloss in the shade Jackie a la Mode. It's really pretty. I think this is limited edition, but it is still available, I believe. It's a really pretty like pastel powder pink. So beautiful. Something I don't typically go for all the time, but it just looks great if you're kind of pairing it with a pastel pink smoky eye, or maybe even an all matte eye look smoky eye. I just think pink might come back this spring. I don't know. I'm like feeling it right now. And I also really love this. This is the Joviance Plump FX Lip Serum, but it's actually just like a lip gloss, but it does have like some serumness in there, and it really makes your lips super like plumpy. I noticed a little bit of plumping, and it does have this like peppermint kind of tingling feeling, but it's not it doesn't overdo it or anything like that. But I mainly love the shade of this. It's a beautiful sheer pink. Like, you barely almost don't see it, but it almost is completely sheer just with this slight nude wash of pink. And it just looks very flattering, especially if you just want a little bit of something and you're doing like a no makeup look and you just want to put a little bit of gloss on that's going to give you a slight little bit of sheer pinkness. It just looks really good, and I loved it in combination with these two kind of put together, so I really, really love this. So now I want to go ahead and get into my regrets for the month. So the first thing I want to mention are these LA Girl Pro Concealers. I was really excited to try this, but it quickly disappointed me. I just found that it was kind of dry and clumpy looking underneath the eye and just gave me a little bit of almost like dots and spots. I don't know, and it just didn't, it just didn't look flattering. I just wasn't a huge fan. I also am not a fan of the applicator and how it spreads out. I don't really like how it's like brush and not like a doe foot, you know? I don't know, just not a huge fan of this. And I know a lot of people are, so that's why I was really excited to try it, but just didn't work out for me. So I also want to mention this Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation stick. I do want to say as a disclaimer, I love this as a foundation. It's so good. I use it all the time. It's actually one of my go-to everyday foundations. Like, if I want to just do my makeup, not too glam, but you know, not too like no makeup, and just have like a regular in-between makeup look, this is like my go-to foundation. Like, I love it. But I have tried it as a bronzer just because I saw a couple artists on Instagram use it as a bronzer and it looked so good in like the little Instagram tutorial videos. This is the shade 177 equals Y505. The shade is a little bit too red for my liking. It's like almost okay, but just has like a smidge bit too red for me. But more of the formula is what I'm not a huge fan of. When it comes to using this as a bronzer, I just found that it was a little bit too much of a luminous kind of glow. Like, I just wish it was more matte when it comes to bronzing. But again, that's just like, I just tried to use it as bronzing. You know, it's not for that. It's a foundation and it's amazing as a foundation. What's funny is I actually love the Anastasia foundation stick as a cream bronzer and I hate it as a foundation. But I love this one as a foundation and hate it as a bronzer. So I mean, when it comes to makeup, you can use it for like, you can innovate and use it for so many different things. I tried this as bronzing, just didn't work out. So I figured I would just kind of like relay the message to you guys. But do keep in mind, it's such an amazing formula for a foundation. It's really good. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed my February favorites, not my March favorites. Sorry about kind of confusing that in the beginning there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I'll of course see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.